Welcome back to Who Would Win. And today, obviously, this is technically yesterday's Who Would Win, but I was on the tired side. Like, I was exhausted. Normally, when I go out on Fridays after, because Mark it's one of the Mark's only days off, so we go and hang out and, decompress. But I was so exhausted just going out. Normally, we can try to stay out till about, 11, midnight, even 1 sometimes. Back in my youth, I could stay out till like 2 or 3, but now I'm moving into my 30s now, so I can't do that anymore, especially since I've been on days for so long now. My body's just wired for a different time frame. But I was fading so quickly throughout the night. Like we ended the night I think right around 10. Got home and I just done. I digress though. So this comes to us from, and I want to see if I get the name right. Janila? Is that right? Janila? Janila Dorley? Let's say Janila D, so I don't at least butcher one of the names. Janila D, who asked the question, who would win the fight? And remember, we are in October now, which means our Who Would Wins are going to be themed with horror icons, creatures, monsters, anything that would kind of be found around the Halloween, October time. That's what we're going to be having in Who Would Wins for the month. So this is Kiiler Klowns versus Chucky, the possessed doll. Not to be confused with Chucky, the weird guy on the corner of Home Depot. Or to be confused with the reboot, who was a robot. Because you didn't specify the remake one, I'm not using the remake one. We're using standard Charles Ray. I believe that's the name of the killer who possessed the Chucky doll. So, or the Mr. Good Guy doll. So Chucky, I believe it is Charles Ray. Charles Ray, hence Chucky, the nickname for Charles is Chuck, was a serial killer who knew voodoo. As he was dying, he imparted his soul on a doll to get revenge of the guy who basically led to his death. And he's been trying to get after Andy for years to put his soul in his body. So as a doll, he's good at deception until you figure it out, and then you could just beat the living crap out of him. Because that's his biggest problem as a doll. Yeah, he could scare the crap out of you. He could sneak up on you, and if you're afraid of him, then, you like that woman, I think in the third one, was it? Or the second or third one? I think it was the second one. You could beat you to death with a yardstick, but he's still a doll. He's still a doll. He doesn't have the strength of a man inside a doll's body. He's just a doll. He normally likes to wield a giant knife, but he can use just about anything to kill you. He does possess some voodoo abilities, like the ability to transfer soul to someone else. Normally has to touch them and, restrict the chance. But he did learn a different voodoo spell in terms of imparting his soul into objects in Cult of Chucky, where he actually just continually put his soul into other bodies without the use of the spell. How he learned that spell, we don't know. Without touching them. That's why there were multiple Chuckies within that film. So in theory, he could do that. However, going up against the alien clowns from Attack of the Kiiler Klowns from outer space might be a bit awkward for Chucky. He's like, what the am I dealing with right now? So the Kiiler Klowns are an alien species that look like clowns. In fact, they pretty much are, like, something about their species must have been observing Earth at some point, because they have so many clown-based, circus-based things. It's just that it's all with an alien twist. Some technology includes little popcorn seeds that turn into clown monsters. The ability to create a shadow puppet that actually can consume people. Laser guns that can either turn you into a cotton candy, wrap you up in cotton candy, which dissolves your innards. It dissolves you and turns you into a food. Or, just kills you. Acid pies. The ability to turn you into a living puppet and use you like a ventriloquist dummy. They're strong enough to punch a human head clean off a body. They're also pretty durable. Like, besides the nose. The nose is the one thing that if you blew it up would kill them. But apart from the nose, there isn't much we know about, like, physical weaknesses to them. We know they were immune to gunfire, so just a standard gun wouldn't do anything. You could make the argument, though, that enough blunt force trauma could easily take them out. Like, them getting crushed by a boulder, squishing them flat would kill them. But that's probably because it would destroy the nose, too. In theory, you could probably take off their head and kill them. But we never saw anything past the gunshots, physical damage, and, punching beyond that. So we really just don't know physically if they could survive anything beyond just standard guns. Like if they could survive a bomb going up in their face, assuming they didn't blow up the nose. Could they survive decapitation, for instance? Do we know that? Could they survive having their entire like body blown out, like a giant hole, their heart blown out? We don't know. So when talking about this fight, let's say the clowns are invading a town, Chucky's trying to look for Andy, and he realizes he quickly plays plays doll as the clowns are walking by, and they even take up Chucky. Oh, they like this doll, so they take him, and now Chucky's just, what is going on here? The circus in town? Look, buddy, I've got a date with a 12-year-old boy. Or was it an 8-year-old boy? I can't remember. But it stabs the clown. Clown just, that's like, okay. So, Chucky tries to get out of there, and really, they just follow him, and maybe they lead into a good toy store that has a bunch of good guy dolls, and now they're kind of like, they just start throwing them on the ground and start basically squishing them, blasting them, breaking them. Chucky's like, all right, time to play. So he's like rigged the store with some booby traps or whatever, maybe some wires, and like a fire hydrant comes, just poof, kicks them in the or hits them in the face, head. They go down. He comes in again, tries to stab him in the face, and I'm putting up against like two clowns at least. Stabs one, and maybe even manages to hit him in the nose, and that's where that one dies. Like, all right, one down, one to go, boast. Oh crap! And then shoots him with a cotton candy gun, and that's basically all she wrote. The problem here is, as far as we know, the clowns only have one weak point. And Chucky, if he could get like on top one, start stabbing one in the face, could hit the nose. He could, but that doesn't mean he'd recognize the nose as the weakness. He'd just assume he stabbed him, and that's all. That's good night, Irene, as I said in the last one. I kind of like that term, good night, Irene. So it's a little tough. Could Chucky pull out the majority win against, let's just assume, two clowns? Problem is, the only way we know for him to kill the clown would be to hit it in the nose, and he might get the first one definitely, but as soon as the second one sees that what happened to his comrade there, he just blast Chucky with attack, or use the T-Rex shadow puppet or whatever. Ultimately, Chucky loses this because he's just too cumbered by his own physical abilities or lack thereof, and has no real abilities. Besides his ability to maybe try to impart his soul into one of the clowns. That might work, but that's a question, could he pull that off before the clown tries to kill him? And I don't know if that'd even work on an alien clown, because their physiology is just different. So, I mean, we know because we know thanks to that souls exist. So do these clowns have souls? Oh, it's tough to say. But as it stands, I'm probably going to have to go with Chucky on this. Sorry, the Kiiler Klowns on this. Chucky, if he could kill one and maybe steal the body of another one, that might work, but I don't know if he'd even try. He'd do that probably just to save his ass, or just, put his soul into maybe one of the other good guy dolls. That might be something he'd do, but I think the clowns would just leave, and then Chucky would be like, well, that was close, and then get the hell out of here, meaning not confront the clowns again, which still counts as a win for the clowns. So ultimately, I'm going to have to go with the clowns. But let me know what you think. Could Chucky legitimately find a way to beat the clowns? And again, we're just factoring maybe two of them in this fight. Because a one-on-one, I think Chucky might win in a one-on-one. Just by taking the clowns by surprise, right environment, I think he could win in a one-on-one. But on a two-on-one, no, the clowns win. And these clowns are, generally speaking, in groups. Like, they're roving in packs. Now, that being said, you can get them on their own. Then when you get them on their own, you stand a better shot. But together, roving in packs of clowns that are looking to turn people to cotton candy and drink them, no, Chucky loses in at least two-on-one fight, and anything above that. Till then, though, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I just would win. Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if, anything to do in the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.